Hey kids, how's it going? It's Grandpa. So today the subject is death. So next week we'll have happier topics. I'm going to probably go into toys from the 70s as opposed to toys from 2019. But today we're going into death, and I wanted to dedicate today's show to my friend Chris, who's hurting right now because he lost someone very close to him. So let's get on to talking about death. So when talking to kids, you need to understand the person that you're speaking with. So preschool children are not going to understand death. They may try to empathize or seem like they get what's going on, but they don't. In a lot of cartoons, they have people fall down and then get back up. So they view death as more temporary, or like, I'm down for a little bit, but I can get back up. So it isn't till you get to kids between the ages of 5 and 9 that you start having to explain more what death is. And they may not grasp the concept. It depends, because everybody develops a different way. But they're going to understand more about death and the permanency of it. But it's important that you talk to them about this, because they may start associating death with skeletons or be shown things like in horror movies or something and develop nightmares and fears. And so you don't want that to happen. So then again comes the honesty part. And then kids from 9 to adult do understand that death is not reversible, and they start to understand their mortality better. So they're the best people to start, or they're the best ages to start grasping what's going on. So when talking to your children, it is always best that you talk about death in clear and simple language. Don't get too complicated. Put emotions into words. Like, I'm feeling frustrated, or I feel alone too, or I feel just as hurt as you do. Talk to your child about funerals and your own rituals. So if you're Catholic, what to expect there. We went to a Hindu wedding, and that was really different, and it opened my eyes to a lot of different things. Give your child a role, maybe someone that hands out at church what they're going to be discussing that day, or pictures, or a greeter. Give them a role so they feel part of something, so they're not just there feeling overwhelmed. And then help your children to remember the person that was. Good times, funny times, the adventures that they went on. I like to go to sports games with my dad, so we'd always talk about Timberwolves games, and whenever we got the chance, we'd go. And I found out years later that my dad really wasn't even a huge fan of basketball, but he just went because I loved it. That was pretty cool to know that. So my dad liked my writing. When I was younger, I did a lot of poetry and creative writing, so I tried to do this because I couldn't find my writing, so I just wrote this today. I thought I'd make it rhyme, so some people like that better. So here's my poem. I started out small just after spring, enveloped by chaos and truths that ring. Since birth I was broken, these facts still sting. No matter the yardstick, no tape measured thing. My shadow so tiny, on you I did cling. One day I crept out from under your wing. I even yelled once that I am the king. And branches I would play and jump and swing. But the next day I came back and you were taken from me. Just a hole in the ground where you used to be. All that was left from my big oak tree. But watching others oblivious in their jubilee, but uncertain and scary the future I see. So that was something I just came up with now. And remembering my dad, he always liked to tell the story of how he met my mom. And they were in class together, and they're actually dating other people at the time. But on their first date, when he was 15, he said, "I'm going to marry you," to my mom. And she freaked out, which I think anyone would. But after high school and college, they proposed. And my dad and my mom got married, and then my dad went into the military because it was the draft during that time. And so he got to work in Cuba as one of the translators, and he went into adventures there. In fact, one of the generals, like, their gun went off inside the building, and talked about everyone's ears were ringing a while afterwards. The hard part about my dad is just knowing he's not coming back. Like, I keep thinking of funny things I want to tell him, or stories, or if I'm having a hard day, I can call him, and I knew he'd always be there. And now I pick up the phone and he's gone. Like, I know he can't. So, I say a prayer, or I try to talk to him through there, but it's not the same. I feel like he's listening, but he can't give me advice back. So I feel like the greater the love, the greater the loss and despair, because there's just huge parts of my heart that are not going to come back. And a poem I wanted to read by who my dad would call Tupac Shakur, which is really Tupac Shakur. Death is not the greatest loss. It's what dies inside while still alive. Never surrender. So that's all for me today. We'll get into more topics later, or be sure to let me know if you have any questions in the comments below or on my Facebook page. So please subscribe, and I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.